Hi, this is Joe again with another review. Instead of doing a movie or television show, I'm going to be doing what the big event is for this weekend, or the only real event, and that's that crappy football game that's going to be on this coming Sunday, and that's of course Super Bowl 29, or I like to call it Toilet Bowl 49, because that sport is the worst fucking, excuse my language, it's the worst fucking sport ever created, which is football. And I figured since everybody's somewhere on the bandwagon for this shitty sport, I figured I'd do the same as well. Of course, for Super Bowl 49, we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Cheaters. Well known to everybody else as the New England Patriots, because of course they cheated in the AFC Championship game with deflating their balls. That's footballs, of course. Where the other balls may be deflated too with all the steroids they're taking, but that's another issue altogether. Of course, this is the most overhyped and highest rated event through the whole year. The other one, of course, being the Academy Awards, which is coming off in the end of February. The reason why this goddamn mother effing game gets the highest ratings that it does is for several reasons. Most of the reasons, there's about maybe 3 or 4 different groups that watch the Super Bowl. Excuse me. Number one, of course, diehard football fans. That's like number one group. Number two group, and the second group, is people who watch for the commercials. Like me. I don't give 2 shits for the game. I hate the sport. The sport sucks. This is the only sport that everybody talks about. Nobody talks about the real national pastime, which is baseball. No one talks about that. No one talks about basketball. No one talks about hockey. No one talks about, God forbid, they should talk about soccer. They don't talk about that. But this goddamn fucking sport, excuse my language again, that is the sports sport they talk about. They don't talk about anything else. This is the one sport where, and every Sunday, especially on the local news, forget Sports Center or ESPN, forget ESPN, forget Sports Center. This is the only sport where every single score is broadcast on local news. They say in New York. They show every score of every game there is. And not only that, but this is the only sport where every game is on regular television. If you don't have cable, you can't see these games. Even if you don't have cable, you can see every game in the local market. Even games that are scheduled to be on cable, you can see on regular TV. What I mean is the Monday Night Football games, if they show like a local team, like unfortunately we have to deal with the 2 teams who play in New Jersey, the Jets and the Giants, who haven't played a single game in New York City. Either team, Kings of the Giants, they haven't actually played a single home game in New York City in 40 years, since 1975, and the Jets haven't played a single home game anywhere in New York State since 1983. So it's a joke that they're called New York teams, and when they play in fucking New Jersey, which is a joke, because there's only one New York football team, and that's the Buffalo Bills. So there's the only sport where you have every single home game in your local market you can see on TV every week. You don't have to worry about getting games on cable, because the Monday Night Football games are on cable, and so is the Thursday night games. But if they happen to be the local team, like with the Jets and Giants, for example, it's on regular TV, and it's going to be simulcast on a regular channel, which is a joke. They don't do that in baseball, because baseball, they have the Sunday night games since 1990, when that was the first year the ESPN broadcasted games since 1990. You don't see the Sunday night games in your local market. And the Mets were the first Sunday night, played the very first Sunday night baseball game against, I think it was against Montreal. And now the Washington Nationals, they don't broadcast any game that's on Sunday night on ESPN. Never done it. But football, they do it for. That's why I hate football, and they screw up the Sunday night programs every single week. Uh, more on CBS than Fox. At least Fox, they do it the right way. They cut off the sports at 8 o'clock, and from 8 to 10 Eastern time. That's when they have the regular prime time lineup on Sunday. They don't have They make sure they don't have anything on from 7 to 8. So that way it won't screw up the prime time programming like CBS does with 60 minutes. They gotta have 60 minutes on no matter what. To me, they should not have 60 minutes on during the football season, because there's plenty of times when they have it on instead of being on at 7 p.m. Eastern time, they have it at like 7:30, 7:40, 7:45, 7:58, even, or 7:47, 7:36, 7:34. All these wacky times. Instead of being on at 7 o'clock, it's on like say 37 minutes late, let's say, or 26 minutes late. And if you set your VCR to go off at 7 o'clock to take 60 minutes, let's say, it's not on. And they screw up the good way. So there's plenty of times where the show The Mentalist, which is supposed to be on 10 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday night, that was about like at least 3 times during this season. It didn't even air in New York because the football games ended so late, and all the programs start, instead of starting at 7 o'clock, let's say for 60 minutes, start at 8 o'clock or 8:03 even. Remember, this thing is 8:06, more an hour and 6 minutes late than it's supposed to start. That's why I hate football. And the thing is that when they have baseball games on during the week or night, you always hear the anchors complain, "Oh, we're going to be on late because of baseball games and stuff like that." I don't hear one local anchorman or woman in New York City complaining they're going to be on late because of the football game. I never hear one person complain about it. I always hear the baseball game that complains. Like, for example, when they had the All-Star game here in New York City in 2003 at Citi Field, the local anchor woman, Debbie Alexander, who works for a local Fox affiliate here in New York, she anchors the 10 o'clock news. She complained that we were going to have Channel 5 in New York, which is the local Fox affiliate. They were going to have a special pregame show before the the national broadcast for the All-Star game. Then they have the pregame show and the actual pregame show and the All-Star game itself, and then a special local post-game show for the All-Star game. So Debbie Alexander, she complains, "Oh my God, we're going to be on the news is going to be on the wee hours in the morning because of all this crap." And when they had the Super Bowl they just had the Super Bowl of Fox a year ago. She didn't complain on the anchors who work in the Sunday night news. They didn't complain once they were going to be on late because of the Super Bowl. That's not being hypocritical about it. I don't know what is. So that's the reason why I hate football, because I don't get a criticism. Another thing I want to delve into is the reason why this groups that go back to the groups that watch the games. There's one that watches the diehard football fans. There's one. 2 people who watch the commercials like I do. There's the other group who gambles on football. I mean, they can't enjoy football without gambling on it. And 4, the halftime show, which is going to be Katy Perry this year. And the 5th reason is they want to rub it in to people who are diehard football fans, saying that the last game until August, when the exhibition game storm again in August, or 6 months from now in August. So those are the really the 5 groups that watch the games. Me, there's like idiots who watch it. There are idiots who watch it just for the sake of watching it, so they can have something to talk about the next day on the water coolers. The other thing that I hate about, and the reason why the Super Bowl was the highest rated program for the whole year, is because of the major of the 4 well, actually the 5 networks, including the CW network, they do not put any counter programming up against the Super Bowl because they assume, and you what happens when you assume, you make an ass out of yourself. They don't assume, well, they assume that everybody is watching the game. So what they do, they put reruns on. Whatever shows they happen to be on, they air on the other networks on Sunday night. They put reruns on. So even if the game, like I said, for example, the game last Super Bowl 48 between Denver and Seattle, that game was crap. But by the second quarter, the game was over. That's how bad the game was last year, and there was nothing to turn to. There's nothing to put on to watch because the game last year was shit. It was a lousy game. It was a blowout. Why can't the other networks put something on so in case if the game is a blowout, we can see something new, or a new episode of the show or shows that air on Sunday night? You can't do that because they put on reruns, and that's the frustrating part. The reason why the World Series, they're comparing the two sports. The reason why the World Series ratings are so low every October is because the other networks, I'm talking about ABC, NBC, CBS, and the CW network, they every night during the World Series, they put new episodes on the shows that they have on, or brand new shows that people want to watch. Oh, here's a brand new show. Let's watch this instead of the World Series. That's what it is. And the excuse is, that baseball is so regionalized. The excuse is because if you don't have a team, or your favorite baseball team, or your local baseball team is not in the World Series, people don't want to watch it. That's a lot of shit. Okay, I have to say it. That's a lot of crap. Because you have one team from the East Coast, and you do have a team from the West Coast in the World Series. And then the Super Bowl. You have New England and you have Seattle. What about cities like Chicago? What about Dallas and Texas? The football is huge. Or in the southern part of the country, which like Florida or Georgia, where football is bigger than this here in New York. Because of the football teams they have down in the South and Texas and in the Midwest. What about them? They don't have a team. How come they watch the Super Bowl for? Now the teams in the Midwest are in there. Now the teams in Texas are in there. No teams in the South is in the game. So when they have this big, if it's regionalized, how come? Or every sport is regionalized to some extent. On national broadcast, how come they're not in it? So that's a lot of crap. Because there's nothing broadcasting up against the Super Bowl. There's nothing. There's no big blockbuster movie. There's no big documentary. There's no big primetime movie. Because the networks don't broadcast primetime movies anymore. They don't produce them anymore. Because of the expense. So they don't broadcast any movies. They don't broadcast anything with anything on the other major networks. So but unfortunately during the World Series, the World Series is a best out of 7 series. You have to win at least 4 games out of a possible maximum 7 games to win the championship. And so it goes on for a week without the breaks in between. So really it's like 9 days. With the 2 travel days in between. If it goes to the full 7. Like it did this past World Series with Kansas City and the Giants. But this game is one game. It is one game. For a championship. But still, there's no excuse. It's the reason why. Because I remember as you can see behind me, I'm a big Mets fan behind me. When the Mets won the World Series in 1986, specifically the 86 World Series. And that's why I went 2000, because 2000 was like one of the lowest rated World Series ever between the Mets and the Yankees. But in 1986, when the Mets played the Red Sox, I remember specifically that the other networks talking about because NBC had the World Series that year. So it was no. That's how long ago it was. There was no Fox Network at that time. Not until a year later, in '87. But the other two networks are talking about ABC and CBS for that 1 week. Well, actually, the 3 days specifically. You're talking about Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. For games 3, 4, and 5, there are no new episodes of any series that week. I'm talking about the shows that air on the nights of the 3 World Series games. And so that World Series was very, very high rated. The only World Series that was about just as high, ratings-wise, but that one since, was maybe the 2004 World Series with the Red Sox. Because the Red Sox was a compelling story because of how they beat the Yankees in the playoffs. The 2004 World Series got pretty high ratings. So, I mean, if it's a compelling enough story, I'm sure if it was the Cubs in the World Series, which I don't think they would never ever make it to a World Series. But if they ever do, that's going to be a huge. If in 2003, if the Red Sox and Cubs play in the World Series, that's going to break all kinds of. That would have broken any kind of ratings for the World Series. The only thing that may be close if it's Cleveland and the Cubs. The reason why I say Cleveland is because those are the two teams that have gone the longest without winning a World Series. But going back to the '86 series, they didn't have any competition on television. And the 7th game, which was the highest rated baseball game ever with 88 million viewers. I don't think they have another game that had that many viewers since. A baseball game. I mean, the ratings have been going down since because they are broadcasting other stuff against the World Series. They're not giving them, a week off and not airing a show 1 week. They can air shows during the Super Bowl. I mean, there's no excuse whatsoever not to have counter programming. My dream is, of course, the highest rated show other than the Super Bowl is the Oscars. I would love to see the Oscars up against the Super Bowl just once, because women will be confused on what to watch. Because A, women will watch the Super Bowl for the commercials, and B, they will watch the Oscars for the fashions. See what the women who are either presenting an award, or the actresses who are presenting an award, or the actresses that win the Oscars will be wearing that night. So we'd love to see the Oscars up against the Super Bowl, so at least we can have something other than watch than this, especially a football hater like I am, because I hate the sport. The sport sucks. Fuck the NFL. Fuck the commissioner. Fuck the Patriots. And fuck Tom Brady's balls. I'm talking about the ones he plays with during the game. I'm talking about the NFL footballs that he plays with during the game. I have to say again, excuse my language out there if there's any kids watching this video, because I hate the sport. The sport sucks. It cannot possibly suck enough. This effing sport. And anybody at least 100 million assholes, I have to say it, who watch this game, you're nothing but a bunch of fucking drunks out there and morons who continue to support this sport despite the fact that it has murderers in it, rapists like Ben Roethlisberger, murderers like Aaron Hernandez and O.J. Simpson, and the guy who used to play for the Ravens, child abusers, wife abusers like Ray Lewis. They have more people who have been arrested, former football players who have been arrested and served time in jail, more than any other sport. So go ahead, continue supporting the sport, you fucking morons out there. This sport is the worst sport ever made. The worst. And all of you out there who are watching this video, who continue to watch that sport, are supporting that type of behavior. And for what? To earn a couple of extra bucks when you gamble in this shit? Well, I'm gonna say for all of you who are going to watch the sport, who are going to watch Super Bowl 49 and any other football game after that, all I'm gonna say is that you're a moron. You're an idiot. So that's my sport review or rant on the NFL and Super Bowl 49. And I do hope that because I also feel that the New England Patriots should not play in this game because of what they did in the AFC Championship game with the footballs. And if I had my way, if I was the NFL commissioner, I will ban the Patriots from the game, suspend Tom Brady, suspend the head coach, and not only for the game, but for all next year, and not allow the Patriots to have not one single draft pick in the next NFL draft. I want to say thank you for watching this video. Even though I want to apologize again for all the cursing. Please feel free to rate it. Feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel. And please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. And also, you can also watch my videos on, at least my older videos on rallyc.com. Please check out rallyc.com as well as my YouTube channel for all my videos. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time. And hopefully we won't go on another rant like this.